Welcome to Spotlight Gulf Coast, a weekly showcase of people and events across South Mississippi. Spotlight Gulf Coast is partnered with William Carey University and sponsored by the IP Casino Resort and Spa, the Trenchard Scholarship Fund, and the Butch Ostelet Foundation.
Hi, I'm Samantha Bignell, Keesler Federal Credit Union, and I'm your host today for Spotlight Gulf Coast. We want to thank our sponsors for the generous support, allowing us to continue to come into your living room each week. Today, I have with us Ms. Frances Alsop and Laura Hasty, our guests for today. How are y'all doing today?
We're doing fine.
Ms. Frances, you are the Director and CEO Extraordinaire, as I like to call you, of CASA of Jackson, George, and Greene County, which is the CASA of Southeast Mississippi, right?
Yes.
Please tell me a little bit about how long you've been doing that.
Oh, somewhere around 27 years, maybe 28.
Do you love it?
I do. The mission is very near and dear to my heart.
So a little peek into me is I love it as well because I am the Vice President for the board for CASA of Southeast Mississippi. So I already know how great the program is and how strong it is needed in our communities. But will you tell me just a little bit about what CASA is?
Well, CASA is court-appointed special advocates, and we recruit and train everyday citizens to be a voice for children who's been abused and neglected.
And these children, where are they at? Are they still in their homes, or where are they usually at?
Usually foster homes. Usually in foster care, and they're traveling through the youth court system.
So it is definitely a worthwhile cause to give these children a voice.
Definitely.
So how long has our CASA program, the CASA of Southeast Mississippi, been in existence?
We started in existence in 1985, so 40 years, continuous.
It's our 40-year anniversary.
It is.
I'm not 40 yet, but we are getting close.
Yeah.
But so I know that is a huge, we had a big celebration planned coming up, correct?
We do, June 21st.
June 21st, and tell me a little bit about that.
The June 21st is going to be, there's no place like CASA. It's going to be held at the Hilton Garden Inn in Pascagoula. Please come join us. It's really, our keynote speaker is a former foster mother who adopted, and actually she is going to give her testimony as well as the child.
And I know it's our biggest fundraiser of the year,
yes.
How we do it. And so it is a gala at the Hilton, and they can buy tickets through our Facebook, which will give them a link, or our website, or contacting any of the board members.
Yes. And
the tickets, do we know how much they're?
They're $75 a piece. It is cocktail attire this time. So we're really excited about it. We've got Zachary Feldman that's coming for entertainment. We've also got the youth, the Ocean Springs choir, the performing tour choir that will be there to perform. So we have a lot of things in store for everyone. Great silent auction, absolutely wonderful community partners will be there. We want to fill the room.
And I know this is probably like a little shameless plug, but who is the headline sponsor of that?
Our presenting sponsor this year is Keesler Federal Credit Union.
That is because we love supporting the community, and we love supporting the things that the community does, and of course our children in the community. And that is hand in hand what this does. Is it helps the children. It helps the children that are most in need of a voice. Especially with this nonprofit, it is a charity, completely, and we have them across a lot of Mississippi, but not the whole state, right? I know that we are lucky on the Gulf Coast because we have you, and then we have our CASA of South Mississippi, which is Hancock, Harrison, and Stone County.
That's correct.
And they have an amazing leader as well.
They
do. I know that on the coast we are strongly represented. But tell us a little bit more about what you do, Ms. Frances, in the community. I know you do a lot in the community, not just for the children in foster care.
I do. As executive director, I'm all over the place. I'm Jackson to the other programs, networking. I'm pushing grants. I'm trying to find funding. I'm networking with anyone and everyone who will listen, because it's a constant recruitment, because volunteerism is needed so desperately.
Yes. And you're also singing. Do you sing?
I do.
A little bit?
I do. I'll be part of the Ocean Springs Performing Choir.
And that is how I met you. Yeah. Many years ago, more than 20 years ago, whenever I was in choir with a daughter at Ocean Springs High School.
Yep.
I've known Miss Frances that long. So whenever I started collecting, we were collecting toys at all of our branches. Goodness, this was like 2017, I think. And I was like, you know what? If we're collecting toys in Pascagoula, I want these toys to go to children in Pascagoula. I was like, who can I connect with to make that happen? And so I reached out to Ms. Francis, and we hatched a plan to where all of the toys that are collected at a Keesler Federal branch go back to the CASAs or child advocacy centers in those areas. So that the people that are bringing in these toys and Christmas gifts will be benefiting those in their own community. So that is how I got started doing that, and it has grown huge now. I have multiple deliveries I have to do every year, multiple bikes. My dad gets involved. We get a lot of people involved. My friend Stephanie that works with me had to fill the flex for the teenagers that are in foster care and stuff, and that was huge this year.
It. And the kids love it. Oh my goodness, it's such a gift.
I know.
Just to see that kind of community partnership, man, it makes my heart skip a beat.
And it wouldn't be possible without our fearless head volunteer, Miss Patty.
Very true.
Miss Patty, she might as well be an employee.
Yes, because I count her as staff anyway.
Right?
Yeah.
And she is the Christmas coordinator of chaos.
She's Mrs. Claus.
Yes. She definitely helps it all go through. So tell me a little bit more about how people can help with fundraising and things with CASA. I know that that is something we want to expand, of course, like always, especially into George and Greene a little bit more in those counties, and hopefully in the horizons a little bit more. But
of course,
what else can they do to help us?
You know, any way with the fundraisers, any way that they can reach out. You know, we're not experts in all these different fields. So we take these people that can give in their own expertise and help us with marketing, help us sell tickets, help us set up, help us clean up. You know, we want you to help. We want you to be involved, because everybody that's involved makes an impact in a child's life.
So there's ways for them to be a friend of CASA without technically being a volunteer advocate, because some people it just might not be possible with their time frames.
Of course. A friend of CASA is those that help us, help us in the community, such as at the fairs and so forth. We'll set up tables. They can help promote and just spread the word for us. Share the Facebook post. Simple as that. We accept it from all over and from all areas.
I know that I saw something about the Ocean Springs Carnival Association.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about what they do for us.
Yes. Each year they host a special event. I believe this year they're doing a golf tournament. And so they host a special event to raise money, and then they sponsor foster children for Christmas.
It's amazing.
Yeah. We have several community partners that reach out and sponsor these kids at Christmas. And they take that wish list and they fulfill it.
And I know that we partner also with the United Way.
We do. We do. We have been an agency of United Way since 1999. And they have been a firm foundation for us.
They are a great community partner.
They are.
Yes. Well, thank you, Ms. Francis, and we will be back in just a few minutes so that we can hear a little bit more from Ms. Laura about becoming a CASA advocate and how you can do that yourself. Hi, I'm Samantha Bignell with Keesler Federal Credit Union and your host for Spotlight Gulf Coast. And we are welcoming back Ms. Laura Hasty and Francis Alsep to talk to us a little bit more about CASA and becoming a CASA advocate for court-appointed special advocates for foster children, correct? How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How long have you been an advocate for children in foster care?
6 years.
6 years. What led you to want to do that?
Actually, it reoccurred several times in my life. But the thing that kind of led me closer to it was my oldest daughter was in college, and they had done a project for CASA. And so she was able to learn a lot more about it, and she called me and she said, "Mom, this is you. You need to check into this." So I did, and I followed her.
And it was obviously for you, wasn't it?
It was.
So tell me a little bit about what it takes to get to that point to where you can be an advocate.
Okay. You have to be 21. You have to pass a background check. And then you do have 30 hours of training to complete. It sounds like a lot, but it's not. Wonderful Miss Patty walks you through it, helps you with it, and it is not all at one time. It is done, over a span of time.
And we do have hybrid options,
Yes.
correct? About like if somebody can't necessarily make to all the in-persons, they could do some online independent training and then test and speak with Miss Patty.
Yes.
So I know that I feel strongly about that. I tell everybody I know, because they're always wondering how they can get involved. And we do group trainings how often? As often as we can when we get groups?
Yes, because now we're under that guided learning. And so that takes smaller groups. So, we may have 3, 5 people, and it's 15 hours online and 15 hours in classroom.
And so people, if they want, let's say somebody lives in Biloxi, but they work every day in Pascagoula.
Right.
They could reach out to us to become an advocate and try to be placed with a child over in that area because that's where they work. It might be easier, correct?
Yes.
But they could also reach out to CASA of South Mississippi and become an advocate there, right?
Absolutely.
So now if we have somebody who is up in Georgia, Greene County, they can also reach out and we can have them placed with a child up there, correct?
Yes. We have active advocates up there as well. And we will do on-site training there at the satellite office in George County.
I'm sure that Miss Cynthia would also do training for her people on the outlying areas if needed.
I'm sure she has a system set up.
Which is great. I mean, that way we can get the whole Gulf Coast with as many advocates. Now, how many more, I know this is a interesting question, but for us to be able to do and have a voice for all of these children, how many more advocates potentially could we need? A great number, not a firm one.
In Jackson County, as of today, we have 206 children in custody. In George, we have 59, and in Greene, we have 29. So we roughly have a little over 80 volunteers right now. We would probably need about 100 more.
And a lot of those volunteers sometimes take more than one child in case.
Yes.
So they could take siblings where they would have to go to the same home and speak with them, or they could have just multiple different cases if they're an advocate that can handle that workload.
Right.
Now, about the workload, what all does it entail? How much time does it really entail out of my work day? How would that affect me as a working mom to become an advocate?
Well, I work full-time, and I check in with my kid. Now, the case I have now is a little more active. He is older, so I'm able to communicate directly, speak to him daily by text because he's that age.
Yeah.
But the younger kids, you really check in. I usually just check in with the foster once a week, try to see them in person once a month.
And then you can just do your reports, and if you need to go to court, you could. But let's say if you couldn't go to court, could potentially one of the staff members help with that so that if you didn't have time off of work, you couldn't make it during a court time.
Yes.
That's something that they could help with. So it is definitely doable by a busy working parent, a grandparent that's helping out with their grandkids, just anybody that can spare some time to help be a voice of a child can go through this program and help, correct?
Absolutely.
So also, you go sometimes and talk to groups at churches or other groups. Tell me a little bit more about that. And if somebody wanted to, how could they reach out to contact you to come out and speak to their group?
I'm speaking to groups all the time. Anybody that will have me, I'm going to talk about CASA because I see the difference it makes. It truly makes a difference when there is a CASA volunteer on that case. It seems to expedite things quicker because you've got that second set of eyes and ears that's truly looking out for the best interest of the child, reporting that back to court. They become an officer of the court. But they can just reach out to our website. They can call me at the office. I will come anytime.
They can also reach out to me.
Yes.
Because I can help coordinate any of those. Because I know just from firsthand and speaking to the public, to our legislators, to everybody, just how important CASA is and for people having the voice. Because that's one thing that I think every single person in the world wants is just to be heard. That is a way to show that you care and love about somebody is just to hear them. And that is one thing that these children don't necessarily have as a voice. So having that ability to give them that and to have what they need spoken is huge. And it helps with the development. It helps with their confidence, helps with their schooling, their interpersonal relationships, and all of that stuff. So now, is there anything else you want to tell me about being an advocate and, what kind of people can do it? Or is it something that anybody can do?
Anybody can do it. And it really doesn't take that much time. It just takes a heart. And we make time for other things.
Yes.
We can make a few minutes for a child. All we have to do is just get the training, make the connection, and CASA's a great support. You have a supervisor. Ms. Francis will drop everything to speak with you if you need it or have a problem. And there's always resources that they can lead you to if there's, you don't know the answer to it. Anybody can do it.
Right. Which I know that firsthand because I will go up in Miss Francis's office and I'm like, hey, do you have a minute? And she will drop anything to talk to me. But I have gone through the training. I have gone through the advocate training to, whenever I got on the board of directors, I was like, I want to see what the advocates are having to go through to become, certified. And so I went through the training as well with one of my other board members. I think he went through it. And so I know it is not a hard program. Mm-hmm. It is hard emotionally sometimes. Mm-hmm. So I would say it is not necessarily for everybody, but you won't know that until you start to do it. Because when I tell you I'm one of those people that will absorb everything, and I do, whether it's animals, children, people. So some people might find that challenging, but I think a lot of people would love having a voice for children. So, and I think that we are going to have a few advocates hopefully at the gala that we are having on the 21st.
Yes.
Correct? So, well, I thank you all so much for coming and helping me spread awareness about our CASA programs on the Gulf Coast and how great they are. So,
thank you, Samantha.
And thank you for sticking with us, and we hope that you come back in just a little bit so that we can talk with somebody else about another great nonprofit that I believe in strongly. Thank you. Hi, I'm Samantha Bignell with Keesler Federal Credit Union. Thank you for joining us again. I have with me Zach Grady, who is a representative with our state legislator and also the
President of United in Blue.
President of United Blue.
Yes.
So thank you for being with us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I know that you've been very busy probably the last few months, but
It's been a little busy.
Right?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit, because the one thing I am focused on is your work with United in Blue. Tell me a little bit about what that is.
Well, United in Blue is a group it's an organization and a group of people I wanted to put together for a long time to support our first responders. Many people know I spent 10 years with the Iberville Police Department, and my heart just goes out to our first responders. They hold the line for us every day and every night. So back in 2016, we had an incident in Baton Rouge where 6 officers were shot in one day, and several of them were killed in action. A few of them, had bad injuries, and we had a connection through D'Iberville, through our chief, Wayne Payne, with the retired chief of Baton Rouge Police Department. So we decided to put an event together. We were hoping to raise a little bit of money, send it to the families with a card that says, hey, we're thinking about you, we love you. And that event snowballed into raising close to $70,000 in 3 months. We had a big event at the Golden Nugget Casino in Biloxi. And as soon as that event ended, it was so successful, and we were able to give, those families money, and the community just wanted to pour out so much into the law enforcement community and first responder community, and we always wanted to do it again. So last year we had our first official Night in Blue Gala back at the Golden Nugget, and it was another huge successful event, and we got to honor first responders and law enforcement officers that had been killed in the line of duty here along the coast. We started scholarships in their name that go to first responder children, and our goal now is to raise money every year to support these families when an officer or a fireman or a first responder is killed in the line of duty, and also when we have a first responder that's in a big financial need. We know they don't make enough money for what they do, and we want to be there to support them.
So tell me a little bit more about United in Blue. So you might have another big Night in Blue coming up this year?
Absolutely. So we plan to have our Night in Blue Gala every year now. It's going to be an annual event. We were actually, I believe it was the year before last, we finally founded United in Blue as an official 501c3 nonprofit. And this year we're looking at mid-October for a date that's going to be finalized here real soon with the location. And again, our goal is to memorialize these officers and first responders that gave the ultimate sacrifice, and also to, raise awareness for what our first responders deal with day in and day out, to raise money to help, needs of first responder families in these times. And we're excited about our event this year for sure.
I'm definitely excited about it. If somebody wanted to sponsor the event, where would they go to find information about that?
So right now they can go to our website, and they can also find us on Facebook, and that's where we get a lot of messages, people reaching out all the time. We will be advertising here very soon, as soon as we get the date and location locked in, which should be any day now. And Facebook is a great resource to reach out to us. Definitely please look us up on our website, and we look forward to seeing everybody there. It's going to be exciting. We typically we will have live music there. We'll have a silent auction. We'll have some live auction items. And what's great about it is it really just brings that first responder community together for a night where old friends can see old friends, and agencies throughout the whole state of Mississippi will be attending. Last year we had an awesome special guest speaker list with the Commissioner of Public Safety, Speaker of the House for the House of Representatives. We had our Secretary of State there. We had Congressman Ezell there. It was a great event last year.
I was there.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was a lot of fun. Great silent auction. It was a great group of people. It really was.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. So I think that even if somebody can't sponsor it, they definitely should buy a ticket to attend.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'll be able to purchase tickets through our Facebook page and also on our website. And last year, and I'm sure we'll do the same thing this year, we made sure every police department on the coast, as far as we knew, and fire departments had tickets at their department where people could go in and purchase if needed.
Oh, that's nice too.
Yeah. And there'll be first responder discounts as well.
Good.
We want as many first responders to come and enjoy the night as possible, and just be with us for that night of honor.
Yeah. And if somebody wanted to be involved, but not necessarily with the gala, how could they be involved with United in Blue? Is there opportunities for them to do things?
Yes, we're still growing. We're kind of, still sitting there at our foundation. We're kind of new. We're still growing. And if anybody would like to reach out through Facebook, we need the help. There's always different events throughout the year. Last year we had a tent at Peter Anderson where we sold raffle tickets for a golf cart, and we had some silent auction items there that was left over from the event that night. So anybody that's interested in supporting their first responder community and believe that this organization could be the way, please reach out to us for sure.
So definitely, if they have, any like marketing things and they can help with stuff like that, or just any in-kind ways that they want to be a partner, that's definitely something they can reach out and see if it's a need, right?
Absolutely, yeah. We had some vendors show up last year that set up decorations for photo backdrops with balloons and different things like that, and they just came and donated their time and materials and to make the night as beautiful as it was. And we look forward to this every year now. We hope to continue to have it.
So I know that you do a lot with the community, and not just United in Blue, just across the board. You're out there as much as I am, especially with your job and your second job, I'm sure, being in the House of Representatives. But tell me a little bit more about when you were in law enforcement and why that led you to where you're at now.
Well, like I said, I worked at the Iville Police Department for 10 years, and while I was there, I was started on patrol. I was a supervisor on patrol at one point in time, and then I did narcotics investigations for a while, and then moved to general detectives as well before I left. And the way United in Blue got started, mentioning the Baton Rouge incident at the beginning, I just couldn't imagine, like in our tight-knit community down here, all of our cities and our counties, how we have a growing tourist community, but we still have that hometown feel a lot, And I couldn't imagine the impact that it would have on our community if we had 6 first responders, officers, firemen, anybody that were hurt on one day, and several of them killed in protecting us. That's impactful on a community. I couldn't imagine what they were going through, and that's kind of the spark that started United in Blue. It was just an idea. Thinking about Back Bay, D'Iberville, and Biloxi, we had originally planned to have a shrimp spaghetti drawdown. We hoped to raise $10,000 and send a card and a little bit of money, and the next thing you know, we were able to give 6 families over there a $10,000 check, pay for an amazing event, and that was the spark that kind of started everything. And then we kind of fast forward to last year, and again we had another amazing event, and we were able to honor these officers along the coast. We had 5 officers killed in the line of duty in 5 years, and that's impactful for our community. That's our friends, our families, brothers, you know, and I just felt, I guess the biggest thing is I think about how would I want the community to treat my family if I left for work and didn't come home?
Yeah.
What would I want someone to do? And we have a great committee, of community leaders and business owners and elected officials that are on this board, and they want to do everything they can to support these families in these times, and that's our ultimate goal.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely excited about it. So, and thank you so much for coming to talk to me a little bit about that. It's something that means a lot to me, and I'm glad that we could share with the community how amazing it is.
Keesler's been great with the event, and we're excited for them to come in and be a sponsor this year and help us out with the sponsorships and everything. So it's Keesler's been great, and our community has been great. And one thing that you see our community do is rally around our first responders. And it's the action of everything that happens that means so much more that night.
I agree.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you for continuing to sit with us and get to know a little bit more about our community. We want to, again, thank our sponsors for their generosity and allowing us to continue to come into your living room. Thank you, and you have a great night.